もしも今、あなたの人生が、まるで出口の見えない深い霧の中を、重たい荷物を背負って一人で歩いているかのように心細く、苦しいと感じられるなら、どうかご自分を責めないでください。ただ一つ、あなたの魂が奏でている音色、すなわち周波数のチャンネルが、ほんの少し、そう、ボタン一つ分だけずれてしまっているだけなのです。ラジオの周波数を合わせれば、雑音が消えて美しい音楽が流れてくるように、あなたの心の周波数を整えるだけで、人生には信じられないような奇跡が、当たり前のように流れ込んでくるものなのです。今日は、そのための秘密を、あなただけにそっと、時間をかけてお話しいたしましょう。健康への不安、経済的な心配、あるいは、子育てを終えた後の喪失感や、長年連れ添ったパートナーとの心のすれ違い、真面目に生きてきたはずなのに、なぜか心が満たされない、なぜか報われない、そう感じてしまうことがあったとしても、それは決してあなただけではありません。多くの人が、その胸の内に誰にも言えない孤独を抱えながら、それでも平気な顔をして生きているのが、今のこの世の中なのです。世の中を見渡してみますと、実に不思議なことがあるものです。必死の形相で、寝る間も惜しんで働いているのに、常にお金やトラブルに追われ、眉間に深いシワを刻んでいる方がいらっしゃる一方で、いつも穏やかな春風のような微笑みを浮かべ、アクセクすることなく軽やかに生きているのに、なぜか豊かさも、人も、幸運も、向こうから吸い寄せられるように集まってくる方がいらっしゃいます。この理不尽とも思える違いは、一体どこから生まれるのでしょうか。生まれ持った才能の差でしょうか。それとも、特別な運命の星の下に生まれたからでしょうか。いいえ、決してそうではありません。神様は不公平なことなどなさいません。私が長年、神様の世界と人間の世界、その両方を見つめ続け、数えきれないほどの人々の運命に触れる中で確信に至った、たった一つの真理がございます。それは、この大宇宙に存在するすべてのものは、目には見えなくとも、すべて微細な波であり、響きであり、周波数でできているということでございます。あなたが今座っている椅子も、窓から差し込む光も、そしてあなたが抱えている悩みや喜びという感情さえも、元を正せば、すべては固有の振動数を持つエネルギーの波なのです。そして、この宇宙には、誰一人として逆らうことのできない、厳格で、かつ慈愛に満ちた一つの法則が、太古の昔から休むことなく働き続けております。それは、同じ周波数の者同士は共鳴して引き合い、異なる周波数の者は反発し合うという法則です。類は友を呼ぶという言葉がありますが、あれは単なる人間関係の教訓ではありません。物理的な事実であり、あなたの人生のあらゆる側面を決定づけている、最も重要な宇宙のルールなのです。これをもう少しわかりやすく、音叉という道具に例えてみましょう。同じ高さの音が出る2つの音叉があるとします。片方の音叉をカーンと叩いて鳴らすと、不思議なことに、もう片方の触れてもいない音叉が、その振動に共鳴して、勝手にカーンと鳴り始めます。しかし、違う高さの音が出る音叉はいくら隣で叩いても、決して鳴り出すことはありません。これと同じことが、あなたの人生と宇宙の間で、24時間365日、一時も休まず行われているのです。つまり、あなたの目の前に広がっている現実というものは、偶然の産物でも、誰かから一方的に与えられたものでもありません。他ならぬあなたご自身の心、魂が発している周波数という音色に、ぴたりと共鳴した出来事や人物だけが、磁石のように引き寄せられ、あなたの目の前で現象化しているに過ぎないのです。私たちは皆、自分専用の放送局を持っており、そこから世界に向けて見えない電波を発信しているようなものです。その電波の内容通りの番組が、あなたの人生というスクリーンに映し出されているのです。この仕組みを映画に例えてみると、さらによくわかります。あなたの心が映写機であり、目の前の現実がスクリーンです。そして、映写機の中に入っているフィルムこそが、あなたの周波数であり思い込みです。もし、スクリーンに映っている映画が、悲劇的で、 辛い場面ばかりだったとしましょう。あなたはこんな映画は見たくないと言ってスクリーンに駆け寄り、必死になって映像を消そうとしたり、スクリーンを叩いたりするかもしれません。しかしどれだけスクリーンを攻撃しても映画の内容は変わりませんよね。なぜなら原因はスクリーンにはないからです。映画の内容を変えたければ元のフィルムを入れ替えるしかないのです。人生もこれと全く同じです。例えば朝起きた瞬間に体がだるい、また辛い一日が始まるのかと重たいため息をついたとしましょう。その瞬間、あなたの魂という映写機には苦痛や憂鬱というタイトルのフィルムがセットされます。するとそのフィルムから放たれた低く重たい周波数は宇宙という巨大なスクリーンに向かって投影されます。宇宙はあなたのそのリクエストに実に忠実に応えようとします。おや、この方は憂鬱な現実をご希望なのですね。承知いたしましたとばかりに、通勤電車でのトラブルや職場での理不尽な要求、あるいは家族からの冷たい一言など、あなたの気分をさらに重くさせるような出来事を次から次へと用意してしまうのです。逆に私の知る限り、人生を謳歌し晩年になればなるほど幸せに輝いている方々はある一つの共通したフィルムを持っておられます。それはどんなに厳しい状況にあっても心の中に灯した喜びと感謝という光を決して消そうとはしなかったということです。彼らは本能的に知っていたのです。現実が楽しいから笑うのではなく、先に笑って心の周波数を高めるからこそ後から楽しい現実が追いかけてくるのだということ。鬼三郎さん、お言葉ですが、今の私の状況ではとてもではありませんが笑うことなどできません。借金はある、体中の節々が痛む、老後の蓄えもない、これでどうして良い気分になれというのですかとあなたは反論したくなるかもしれません。そのお気持ち、痛いほどよくわかります。人間だもの、苦しい時に苦しい顔をするのは当たり前の反応です。痛みがあれば顔をしかめる、お金がなければ不安になる、それは決して悪いことではありません。しかしだからこそここが運命の分かれ道となるのです。現実はあくまで結果であり、過去のあなたの周波数が作り出した残像に過ぎません。夜空に輝く星の光が何億年も前の光であるのと同じように、今あなたの目の前にある現実は過去のあなたの思考が作り出したいわば過去の遺物なのです。その過去の遺物を見てまた辛いなと反応してしまえば、あなたは未来に向けて再び辛いというフィルムをセットすることになります。この負の連鎖を断ち切るには勇気を持って今この瞬間、現実とは関係なくあなたの心だけを天国の周波数へと切り替える必要があるのです。では具体的にどうすればよいのでしょうか。まず健康についてお話ししましょう。多くの人が年齢とともに体に不調が出ると、もう年だから仕方がない、私の体はダメになっていくと嘆きます。しかしあなたの体を作っている60兆個の細胞たちはあなたのその言葉と思いを常に聞いています。ダメだと言われ続けた細胞は主人の言葉通りにダメな状態を実現しようと萎縮してしまいます。今日からは痛みがある場所にこそ手を当ててこう言ってみてください。いつも私のために働いてくれてありがとう。痛い思いをさせてごめんね。愛しているよと嘘のように聞こえるかもしれませんが、感謝と愛の周波数は細胞を活性化させ、本来の治癒力を劇的に高める力を持っています。体に文句を言うのではなく、体をいたわり感謝する、その温かい周波数が体を内側からよみがえらせるのです。次に人間関係についてです。あの人が許せない、あの人のせいで私は不幸だと誰かを責める心を持ち続けてはいませんか。実は正しさに固執することは最も周波数を下げる罠の一つなのです。私が正しくて相手が間違っていると怒っているとき、あなたの周波数は鋭く尖り攻撃的なものになっています。その波動は相手の攻撃性をさらに刺激し、泥沼の争いを引き寄せてしまいます。幸せな人は正しさよりも楽しさや調和を選びます。どうしても合わない人がいるなら 心の中でそっとあなたにはあなたの学びがあるのですね。どうぞお幸せにとつぶやいて、心のチャンネルを切り替えてしまうのです。相手を変えようとせず、あなたの響きを変える。あなたが穏やかで高い周波数を保っていれば、波長の合わない人は自然とあなたの前から去っていくか、あるいは相手の態度が不思議と軟化していくものです。そして、お金について、お金もまた、エネルギーであり、周波数です。お金が出ていくときには、また減ってしまったと不足の周波数を出せば、お金はこの人は私が出ていくのを嫌がっている。戻ってくるのはやめようと感じます。逆にお金を支払うときに、このお金のおかげで、美味しいものが食べられた、誰かの生活の役に立ったと、感謝の周波数を乗せて送り出してみてください。いってらっしゃい。また友達を連れて帰ってきてねと、愛を持って送り出すのです。循環するエネルギーは、必ず大きくなってあなたの元へ帰ってきます。お金がないことを嘆くのではなく、今あるもの、たとえそれが小銭であっても、その存在に感謝する。そのあるという感覚が、さらなる豊かさを呼び込む呼び水となるのです。かつて、私がよく存じ上げていたある男性のお話をさせてください。彼は事業に失敗し、財産を失い、信頼していた人々にも裏切られ、まさに人生のどん底に突き落とされました。残ったのは膨大な借金だけ。冷たい風が吹き荒れる冬の日、彼は絶望のあまり、命を絶つことさえ考えたそうです。しかし、その極限状態で、彼はふと足元に咲いている名もなき小さな雑草に目が留まりました。コンクリートの隙間から、誰に褒められるわけでもなく、必死に命を輝かせているその姿を見たとき、彼の心に雷に打たれたような衝撃が走ったのです。ああ、こんな小さな命でさえ、文句一つ言わず、ただひたすらに太陽に向かって生きている。それに比べて、人間である私は一体何をしているのだ。その瞬間、彼の方を熱い涙が伝いました。そして彼は決意したのです。もう、嘆くのはやめよう。現状がどうであれ。今、生かされていること、ただそれだけに感謝しようと。それからの彼は、まるで人が変わったようになりました。借金取りが来て怒鳴られても、ご迷惑をおかけして申し訳ありませんと誠心誠意頭を下げた後、空を見上げてそれでも今日も良い天気だ、ありがたいとつぶやくようにしたのです。道端の石ころにさえありがとうと声をかけ、誰に対しても笑顔で接するように努めました。周囲の人々は、彼がショックでおかしくなってしまったのではないかと噂しました。しかし、彼の内側では、劇的な変化が起きていたのです。彼の魂の周波数が、絶望や欠乏から、感謝や充足へと、大きく、力強くシフトしていたのです。するとどうでしょう。不思議なことに、あれほど彼を避けていた人々の中から、君のその姿勢に心を打たれたと言って、支援を申し出る者が現れ始めたのです。思いがけないところから仕事の話が舞い込み、凍りついていた運命の歯車が、ギシギシと音を立てて動き出しました。そして数年後、彼は借金をすべて完済しただけでなく、以前よりもはるかに大きな富と、何よりも温かい人間関係に囲まれた幸せな人生を手に入れたのです。彼は後に、穏やかな笑顔で私にこう語ってくれました。鬼三郎先生、地獄を変える唯一の方法は、自分の心を極楽にしてしまうことでした。私が心の中で笑い始めたとき、外側の地獄は音を立てて崩れ去っていったのですと。これこそが、周波数の魔法。いや、宇宙の法則の真髄でございます。では、具体的にどうすれば、私たちは日々の生活の中で、この周波数を上げ、運命を好転させることができるのでしょうか。難しい修行も、高価な壺も必要ありません。必要なのは、あなたの日常のちょっとした言葉と意識、そしてほんの少しの遊び心だけでございます。まず第一に大切にしていただきたいのが、言葉の力、すなわち言霊でございます。言葉というものは、単なる情報の伝達手段ではありません。あなたの魂の振動を音に乗せて外の世界へと放つ、極めて強力なエネルギーそのものなのです。疲れた。もう年だ。どうせ無理だ。つまらない。もし無意識のうちに、 こうした否定的な言葉を口にされているとしたら、それは大変もったいないことでございます。それは、ご自分でご自分の体や運命に、汚れた泥を塗っているようなものだからです。今日から、いえ、今この瞬間から、意識して美しい言葉、明るい言葉を使うように心がけてみてください。ありがとう、おかげさま、嬉しい、楽しい、幸せです。愛しています。たとえ心が伴っていなくても構いません。最初は形から入るだけでも十分な効果がございます。人間の脳というものは非常に素直なもので、あなたが口にした言葉を真実だと認識し、その言葉を証明するような現実を探そうとする機能を持っています。幸せだなぁと、たとえ嘘でも口に出してつぶやいてみてください。すると脳は、おや、主人は幸せなのだな。では、幸せな理由を見つけなければと働き出し、道端の花の美しさや、ご飯の美味しさ、雨風をしのげる家のありがたみに、自然と気づかせてくれるようになります。その気づきが生まれた瞬間、あなたの周波数は不足から充足へとかちりと切り替わるのです。また、人生を演じる役者になることもお勧めします。私は今、人生という壮大なドラマの主人公を演じているのだと思ってみてください。今は少し辛い場面かもしれませんが、それは後のクライマックス、大団円を盛り上げるための演出に過ぎません。悲劇のヒロインを演じるのはもうおしまいです。これからは、どんな困難も笑顔で乗り越え、最後には大成功する陽気な主人公を演じてみるのです。背筋を伸ばし、口角を上げ、颯爽と歩いてみる。誰に対しても、余裕のある態度で接してみる。演技でいいのです。その演技を続けているうちに、いつしかそれが本物になり、現実がその演技に合わせて書き換わっていきます。そして、一日の始まりである朝を大切にしてください。朝起きた瞬間の周波数が、その日一日の周波数を決定づけます。目が覚めたら、布団の中でまずにこりと笑い、今日も最高の一日が始まった。私は守られている。今日もきっと良いことがあると宣言するのです。これを予祝と言います。先に祝ってしまうのです。朝のニュースを見て暗い気持ちになる前に、窓を開けて新鮮な空気を吸い込み、太陽の光を浴びて、生きていることへの感謝を捧げる。たった5分で構いません。この朝の儀式を持つだけで、あなたの人生の質は劇的に向上します。さらに、日々の暮らしの中に美を取り入れていただきたいのです。これは決して高価な美術品を買えということではありません。日常のふとした瞬間に美しさを見出す感性を大切にしてほしいのです。例えば、庭に咲く季節の花を一輪、食卓に飾ってみる。夕焼けの空のグラデーションを見て、足を止めてみる。お気に入りの音楽を流して、ゆっくりとお茶を飲んでみる。そして、身の回りを少しだけきれいに整えてみる。これを神道ではみそぎと呼びますが、場を整え、美に触れることは、魂についた垢を落とし、本来の輝きを取り戻す最高の方法なのです。散らかった部屋で、コンビニのお弁当を立ったまま食べるような生活をしていては、どれほど願っても高い周波数は生まれません。ご自分を、まるで大切な賓客をもてなすかのように、丁寧に扱ってあげてください。私なんてと自分を卑下するのではなく、私こそが、私の人生の創造主なのだと胸を張り、自分自身を大切にする周波数を放ってください。あなたがご自分を大切にすればするほど、周りの人々や社会もまた、あなたを大切に扱ってくれるようになるのです。ここで、一つ予言をさせていただきます。もしあなたが、今日から愚痴を一つ減らして感謝を一つ増やし、眉間のシワを伸ばして微笑みを浮かべ、日常の中にささやかな美しさを見出す生き方を始められたなら、そう遠くない未来、必ずあなたの人生に奇跡のような変化が訪れるでしょう。長年の持病がふっと軽くなるかもしれません。疎遠になっていたお子様やお孫様から、優しい連絡が来るかもしれません。経済的な不安を解消するような、素晴らしい知恵や出会いが巡ってくるかもしれません。そして何より、朝目覚めた時の気分の良さ、生きていることへの静かな喜びが、泉のように湧き上がってくるのを感じられるはずです。その時、あなたは気づくでしょう。ああ、 幸せというのは遠いどこかにあるものではなく、私の心が決めるものだったのだ。そして私はいつだってその気になれば幸せになれたのだと。もう過去を悔やむ必要はありません。あの時こうしていればと自分を責める必要もありません。あなたの人生はいつからでも何歳からでも新しく作り直すことができるのです。家を建て替えるとき、一度古い家を壊して更地にするように、人生にも建て替え建て直しの時期があります。今、もしあなたが苦しいと感じているなら、それは古い生き方を手放し、新しい、より素晴らしい人生を築くための準備期間なのです。更地になったからこそ、そこにどんな素敵な御殿でも建てることができるのです。周波数というものは、ラジオのつまみを回すように、この一瞬で変えることができます。たった今、あなたが私は幸せになる。私は豊かな人生を受け取ると心に決め、穏やかに微笑んだその瞬間、全宇宙があなたを祝福し、新しい運命の扉が音もなく開かれるのです。そして、どうか忘れないでください。あなたが幸せになり、高い周波数を放つことは、あなた一人のためだけではありません。あなたの発するその明るく温かい波動は、さざ波のように広がり、ご家族を、ご友人を、そしてまだ見ぬ誰かを癒し、勇気づけることになるのです。家の中にお一人、太陽のように明るいおばあちゃん、どっしりと構えた笑顔のおじいちゃんがいるだけで、家族全体がどれほど救われることか、あなたが幸せに生きること、それこそが、この世界に対する最大の貢献であり、最高の人助けなのです。さあ、今日という日は、あなたの残りの人生の最初の一日です。そして、あなたが本当の意味で、ご自分の人生のハンドルを握り直す、記念すべき出発の日です。どうぞ、顔を上げてください。背筋を伸ばしてください。そして、胸いっぱいに新鮮な空気を吸い込んで、ご自分の魂にこう語りかけてあげてください。ありがとう。愛しています。これからは、もっと楽しく、もっと自由に生きていこうねと、恐れることは何もありません。宇宙は、そして神様はいつだってあなたを見守り、あなたの味方をしてくれています。あなたがご自分の魂の音色を整えさえすれば、想像をはるかに超えた素晴らしい未来が必ず用意されています。私が保証いたします。あなたのこれからの人生が、喜びと感謝、そして愛に満ち溢れた、光り輝く日々となりますこと、心より、本当に心よりお祈り申し上げております。さあ、信じて、その一歩を踏み出してください。あなたなら、必ずできます。なぜなら、あなたもまた、この素晴らしい宇宙の一部であり、神様の愛そのものなのですから、私の話は、これでおしまいです。あとは、あなたがご自身の人生というキャンバスに、どんな美しい絵を描いていくか、楽しみでなりません。どうぞ、健やかで、朗らかな毎日をお過ごしください。ありがとうございました。
So, if you accept that as you've been living, you've launched rockets and that there is a vibrational version of you, we wanted so much for you to accept the reality of that vibrational version that we manifested it for you in words by calling it something. We called it for a while a vibrational reality. You didn't like that very much. And then we began calling it a vortex, because it's a vortex that law of attraction is gathering all of the components to. And it is gaining momentum and speed and size and depth and prowess and everything. It's becoming. It's a state of becoming. And as you begin tuning to it, you can be one of the cooperative components that's drawn into it too. So when you allow yourself to be of the vibrational frequency of your own desire, then law of attraction will put you and your own desire in the same place, where you can then begin translating it or perceiving it into reality. These are odd words, aren't they? We'll say them more simply. You can turn thoughts to things. That's how you turn thoughts to things. You turn thoughts to things by becoming harmonic with the thoughts, steadily with the thoughts. That's why you're doing exactly that same thing when we talk about your concern about your physical decline.
Having my thoughts stuck in the past.
Your humanity is turning those thoughts to things. So more people are having more of those experiences because their thoughts that are rampant and steady and chronic are turning to those things. It's for no other reason. Thoughts are turning to things. You've just got to decide what things you would like your thoughts to turn to, and then you've got to think those kinds of thoughts that turn into those kinds of things. That was a nice run. Did you get that? So you want to think the thoughts that are going to turn to the things you want. That means if you look at more of the things you want, you'll think more of the thoughts about the things you want. And if you look at the things you don't want, you're thinking more of the thoughts about the things you don't want. See how it works? So in order to distract you from all of this, because you see, when you become those who are just sifting through the data, then you're thinking thoughts about wanted and you're thinking thoughts about unwanted, and you're getting some of all of it. And so how do you begin to clarify your thought? Well, you have to become a selective sifter. You have to care about the way you feel while you think the thought. And so until you care about the way you feel, you're not going to be a very selective sifter. If you're using the criteria, well, it's true. Esther said to us many times in the beginning, but Abraham, it's true. And we said, are you saying it's a reality for someone? Is that what you mean? It's true, it's a reality for someone? Well, the reason it's a reality for someone is because they gave their attention to it. End of story. That's all that it is. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So we understand why there are those who are trying to get you to get back, deeper to the beginning of some of your thoughts so that maybe you could think them differently. But that's why, as you pointed out in your opening comments to us, we're talking to you about being general rather than specific, because as you become general, you become less likely to focus upon the reality that is not wanted. So if we were standing in your physical shoes and there were aspects of life that we want to live, we would focus upon them as specifically as we have time to do it. But if there are aspects of physical life that we were not wanting to turn to things for us, then we would focus upon them as little as possible. We would make it more vague. We would get really general about it. And what you begin to discover is that the more you focus upon something, the more specific it becomes. The more specific it becomes, the faster the energy moves. The faster the energy moves, the more you are turning those thoughts to things in your life experience. So it makes sense, doesn't it, to give your attention to things that you want to turn to things, and to withdraw your attention from those things that you don't want to turn to things. But how do you stop thinking about something? How do you stop thinking about something? I'm going to stop thinking about that thing that I've been thinking about. Well, you're thinking about it while you're thinking about not thinking about it. I'm not going to think about that thing anymore. I'm not going to think about that thing that I'm not going to think about that thing anymore. But you're thinking about it, aren't you? You're thinking about that thing while you're decided you're not going to think about it. So you've got to think about something else. And in the beginning, the thing that you're going to think about is pretty much like the thing that you decided you weren't going to think about, because law of attraction is only giving you things that are in that vibrational vicinity. But if you are determined to improve the way you feel, then you become more and more general until you find a way of thinking about it that feels better. So let's just take a moment or 2 or 3 or 6 minutes and do that here. Let's find a way of taking that subject that doesn't feel good when you think about it and making it general enough that you feel better about it. And then we'll just leave it in that better feeling place. So you tell us what you intended to talk about relative to this physical stuff when you sat down here. But instead of telling us how it is, we want you to make a strong statement, if you can, about how you want it to be. Brief and strong.
My body responds to my thoughts.
All right, so that's a pretty good statement. It's a strong statement of focus. My physical body responds to my thoughts. How do you all feel about that? Do you believe that? My body responds to my thoughts? Given what we've talked about here just now, my body responds to my thoughts. My body responds to my thoughts. So that's a statement that you may or may not believe, but let's use it as a point of focus. Is there an advantage to believing that your body responds to your thoughts? Why? Because that means you've got some control, doesn't it? In other words, it's not responding to the plastic bottles that my water is in. It's not responding to the rays of the sun. My body responds to my thoughts. My body responds to my thoughts about all of those things, but my body responds to my thoughts. My body responds to my thoughts. So now let's try to find some things that you also believe that support that statement. My body responds to my thoughts.
If I'm feeling good, I can expect to have a good feeling body.
All right, now that's true. How is this conversation causing you to feel? Just keep talking until you can feel whether you're improving the way you feel or making worse the way you feel. My body responds to my thoughts, and I can't control my thoughts. My body responds to my thoughts, and I've been watching all of those commercials, and I believe that my body is declining. My body responds to my thoughts, but my thoughts about my body are not that good. You see what we're getting at? My body responds to my thoughts, but I can't control my thoughts. So there's some cleaning up that we've got to do. My body responds to my thoughts. So now you want to say something about your thoughts that makes that feel good to you, not bad to you. My body responds to my thoughts, and
After this conversation, I now know things differently.
my body responds to my thoughts, and often my thoughts feel good to me. My body responds to my thoughts, and often my thoughts feel good to me, especially when I'm not thinking thoughts about my body. My body responds to my thoughts, and there are so many things in my world that make me happy when I think about them. My body responds to my thoughts, and this time-space reality is abundant with beautiful things for me to focus upon. My body responds to my thoughts, and I believe that my body knows what to do. My body responds to my thoughts, and my inner being has thoughts about my body. My inner being has thoughts about my body. I wonder if my body responds to the thoughts my inner being has about my body. You feeling something happening here? I wonder if my body is responding to the thoughts that my inner being has about my body. Oh, I wonder if the negative emotion that I feel when I'm thinking about my body is present because what my inner being thinks about my body and what I sometimes think about my body are not the same thing. My inner being is optimistic about my body. My inner being is appreciative of my body. My inner being understands my body. The cells of my body are responsive to my inner being. My thoughts either allow that communication or disallow that communication. My thoughts could get in the way of my body's response to my inner being, but when they do, I will always feel negative emotion. So if I can find a way of more often feeling positive emotion, then that means I'm allowing more open communication between the thoughts that my inner being has. This is a sort of breakthrough. Can you feel this? My body is responding to the thoughts that my inner being has about my body, and my body will thrive unless my thoughts about my body are hindering my body's response to the way my inner being is thinking about my body. This is big. I want to open the valve. I want to open the flow. I want the source within me. I want the thoughts my inner being has about my magnificent body. I just can feel how eager I was about coming into this body. This body is serving me so well. This body is intelligent cells, trillions of intelligent cells that are consciousness, that are communicating with the source within me. And if I can just manage to stay out of the way of that, if I can focus upon things that feel good. Do I think about things that feel good? Well, when I think about my body, not so much these days. What about when I think about finances? Do they feel good? How about when I think about world events? Do they feel good? How about when I think about global warming? Do they feel good? What thoughts am I thinking? What thoughts am I thinking, and how much allowing am I allowing the cells of my body? Am I giving the cells of my body the break that they need in order to receive pure communication between source? Or have I got my airwaves all cluttered up with all the things that I'm worried about? Do you? You see what we're getting at? This was a good conversation because the thoughts that you think and the way that you feel. So far, what have we accomplished here? How have we moved forward? We've moved forward in a really extraordinary way just now. We've had a conversation that we've not ever had before in just the way we've had it before. This is a breakthrough conversation relative to your physical body, or relative to anything that you want, but specifically relative to your physical body. Your inner being, the larger part of you, the part that existed before you came into this body, who still exists and still is dominant, is having thoughts about everything that matters to you. Are your thoughts getting in the way of those thoughts? Are you harmonizing with your desire, or are you harmonizing with a reality? Our favorite conversation ever about deliberate creating. You create your own reality. You can find thoughts that feel good. When we come back from a segment of refreshment, we'll talk further with you about things that matter to you. But before these hours in this room have passed, you will understand exactly how it is you're turning your thoughts to things, and what soft, subtle, easy changes you might make in order to be a vibrational match to your desires rather than to your current beliefs. When your current desire and your current belief are vibrationally similar, then you are allowing those thoughts to turn to things. But when your desires are vibrationally different than your beliefs, then you introduce resistance to the subject that prevents the becoming in the way you want it to. And the difference is so subtle that it will knock your socks off. Once you find one subject in your life in which you are productively focused, and you are able to make the association between the results that you're getting as you're turning those thoughts to things, you'll be able to apply it to everything, even the hard stuff. And this is a far more effective process than taking the time to go back to figure out where it got started, because it doesn't matter where it got started, it only matters where it is. And where it is can change in an hour. This is a good time for a segment of refreshment. Everything that happens, even when it happens in a way that you don't think you want, it is leading to something more. And there are two things that we want to say to you. Slow down in the action part. Just slow down in the action part. Let the impulse to act build until you can't not act. That's really what we're saying. Until wild horses cannot keep you from the clarity that you've come to. It feels like the whole point of the deliberate creation is to be able to jump into action as quickly as possible. And what we're wanting you to do is cool your jets just a little bit. And instead of being so eager to jump into action, enjoy the unfolding and the inspired action. And we know it's a fine line between jumping into action to make something happen and then being inspired to the action because the energy has already made it happen. In other words, you know that feeling of inspiration. Do you know that feeling? You know that feeling of an idea hatching and it being so big that it really feels exciting to you when it first comes. And then if you're normal, once that happens, once you hatch that, once you receive that, then you want to jump ahead and figure out how, where, when, who. And the most important thing is realizing that through the contrast is coming the clarity. And when the clarity is profound, then act. But don't act to accomplish the clarity. Clarity and then action. Alignment and then action. Next, we want to say to you that nothing has gone wrong, and that it is a natural unfolding, and in every day of your life experience, this is the way it works. Contrast causes you to put stuff in the vortex, but you're not up to speed with that because it's a contrast that gave birth to it. So now you think about that and you come into alignment with that, and that feels more natural and more normal. And so now you're standing over here and you're in the receptive mode. And now, because you're in the receptive mode, now the manifestation occurs because in your reception, you've turned those thoughts to things. Boom. So here you stand in this new manifestation, with a whole new set of contrasting experiences, which cause you to give birth to another rocket of desire, which at first you're not up to speed with because you're over here knowing what you don't want, but you contemplate it and you look at it and you become a vibrational match to it, and now you're moving and moving and moving, and now you're inside that vortex, you're in the receiving mode, and because you're in the receiving mode, now it's unfolding, you're realizing it, your thoughts are turning to things, boom, now you have another manifestation. And a whole new set of contrasting experiences which are causing you to put more, and on and on and on and on and on it goes. There's no wrongdoing. There's nothing that you're doing wrong. How do you know that you moved too fast until you've experienced yourself moving too fast? How do you know that you weren't in perfect alignment until it turns out not so good? How do you know? And have you lost anything? No. Have you gained something? Knowledge and understanding of how the universe works and how you work with it. The most important thing. So think about being a wire walker, and you're going to walk on a wire at great height across something. And it's really all on you and your balance. There are no wires that are more special than others. Wire walker doesn't fall and then complain that the wire was twisted funny. Finding your balance is all that is required in that, finding your balance. And don't walk across high places until you know you've found your balance. But there's no high place that you walked across. There was no risk. There was no danger. In the beginning, you're walking across that wire and it's only a foot off the floor, and you're not very good at finding your balance, but you get better and better and better and better at finding your balance. And so what happens is sometimes deliberate creators like you want to raise the stakes higher and higher because you think it will make you focus better. It doesn't. You don't focus better at higher risk. So that's why we're saying, don't be so eager to jump into action. Let life help you find that clarity. And when you find that clarity, it's the clarity that you want, not the project. It's the clarity you want, not the agreements. It's the clarity you want. Because when you've got clarity, then you know what to do next and next and next and next and next and next. Is that helpful to you? The universe and your inner being, everyone's standing on our heads in order to help you find the clarity that is within you. If you could accept that you would be in tune if you weren't doing that thing that didn't let you be in tune, the next thing is care about how you feel and guide your thoughts to thoughts that feel better and better. Because your inner being is looking right at whatever you're looking at and feeling good. So you want to find a way to feel the way your inner being is feeling. So step one is you ask, you're doing it all day. Step two is source answers, and law of attraction gathers all of the cooperative components. And step three is you must find a way to be a vibrational match to what you're asking for, which means you must be optimistic. You must be anticipating good things. You must be ready to let good things in. You can't be down on yourself or down on someone else. You can't be mad at yourself or mad at someone else. You can't be noticing what isn't happening and allow something that you want to happen to happen. You've got to find a different way. Otherwise, if you're just focusing on what is in terms of what you have already allowed to manifest, that's really not even what is. That's old news. What is in the vortex, ready for you to allow for yourself and others to see. So we're always doing a sales job, wanting you, and it's not easy for you, we know. You physically focused, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching beings, to for a little while not being so absorbed in what you're seeing, but instead feeling a little bit. Let yourself feel anticipation of your desire. So then we go on to explain to you that the way these things, experiences, material objects, whatever it is that you're wanting to see and hear and smell and taste and touch, how do they become things? How does this vibration become a thought, become a thing? How does that happen? How are you turning thoughts to things? Well, you're doing it by holding a frequency that allows you to be in the receiving mode, that allows you to realize. That's the thing. So sometimes you say, well, I wish such and such would be revealed to me. And we say, it's being revealed constantly. The question is, are you on the wavelength where you can receive it? Are you the realizer of it, or are you the denier of it because you can't see it? So we're asking you for a little while to be a little less seeing and a little less hearing, a little less observing, and a little more feeling, a little more reaching for the feeling. And you know, that part should not be difficult for you, because there isn't anything that you want that is for any other reason than you believe you would feel better in the experiencing of it. So we know it's a terrible price to pay to get happy and expectant about things. And we also know, we know this for sure about you, that when you are observing unwanted, that it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, because law of attraction says that it must. Whatever is active in your vibration, you get more and more and more and more and more and more and more of it. The good news is, in knowing what you don't want, you're launching rockets of desire about what you do want. And so it is all working out for you. We just think that it's time for you to understand it and check your attitude a little bit. Check your mood a little bit. Do something about it. If something is causing you to be unhappy, turn your attention away from it. Things are always working out for you, but your perception of them has to do with how much momentum you've got going toward your desire and how much momentum you've got going in opposition to your desire. So things have always been working out for you, but let's say that instead of you feeling more good than not good, that you had been feeling more not good. Let's say you hadn't gotten off on the right foot and you'd had some unpleasant things in your day-to-day now experience that had you pushing against things. And let's say that you were like most people, you're observing what's happening, and so it happens, you feel it, you flow it. Law of attraction and timing are the same words. Because law of attraction is always operating in the powerful now. Law of attraction isn't operating in your yesterday or in your tomorrow. Law of attraction is operating in your powerful now. So whatever you're feeling now explains why things unfold the way they do. And it really comes down to something very simple. You're either receptive to help or you're blocked off to help. We like this analogy. So life causes you to know that you do want something. And let's say that you actually are able to articulate, I want this. And you plunk an engine down going that way. So that engine is going that way and will continue to go that way and will gather momentum on its own because your inner being is tending it. Law of attraction is responding to that thought. So it is moving. Now, this is so important for you to hear this. And forgive the rudimentary analogy, but it will help you. As your engine is moving that way, and you are not moving, that engine moving will give you a little stress. Let's say your feet are nailed to the track, but the engine is pulling you that way. You will feel stress. Now, not as much stress as if you had an engine going that way, but not moving in the direction of your momentum does feel uncomfortable. Therefore, this is the most powerful and factual thing that we've ever said to anyone. The existence of your desire will automatically produce stress within you unless you let go and move with your desire. So the very existence of negative emotion means that you've got a desire. The very existence of negative emotion means your source, your inner being is calling you. In other words, the existence of negative emotion means that help is on the way. And so don't be angry at yourself about your anger. Say, oh, good, this is good news. This means I'm pulling against something. And what is it that I'm pulling against? My momentum, my success, my inner being, and what my inner being knows. And then tack onto this knowledge a few personal experiences where you witness with your own eyes things working out for you. And then little by little, you become more of a cooperative component to your own allowance of things. And once you get rolling, once those things start stacking up, once this conversation leads to this conversation. Esther was playing with a friend a few weeks ago. They were working on a project together that was more about what he was doing than what she was doing, but she was helping him with this project, and they were high-fiving each other every 5 minutes because the thoughts that they were thinking and the fun that they were having just led to event after event after event after event that was just jaw-dropping. Nothing extraordinary in the sense that you couldn't understand how it happened. It was the consistent, constant sequence of it that left them breathless. And they said to one another many, many times, no one can ever explain that the universe isn't on our side and that things aren't working out for us. The evidence is too profound. Well, hearing it about someone else is well and good and maybe even humorous, but when it happens to you, it's meaningful. Finding a $9,000 diamond in the bushes, if it happens to somebody else, oh, it's a coincidence, or maybe she was doing something different than I'm doing, or maybe she's just lucky, and maybe Abraham's just making a big deal out of what luck really is. But when it happens to you, when you are privy to the desire that's within you and the conversations that are within you, when you witness the universal response to your vibration, and when you're consciously aware of the vibration that you're offering, then this all begins to make sense. If you're just stumbling into things and you're not able to acknowledge the correlation between what you were thinking and what you were feeling and the manifestations, then you don't have hands-on access to how it works. But when it's happening to you like that, oh, then you know. Negative emotion is a meaningful response to not being in sync with the thoughts of your inner being about things that really matter to you. By the time it reaches anger, this matters a lot, and you're pulling hard against something you want. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely.